Today on TimesCast, Iran's President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad visits southern Lebanon near the Israeli border. Delaware Senate candidates trade jabs in a debate. And will this 33-year-old be the next Pavarotti? In a two-day state visit, Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad sends a clear message by visiting southern Lebanon near the border with Israel.
This is Robert Worth reporting from southern Lebanon, where President Ahmadinejad of Iran is visiting, where he's expected to give a speech in Bint Jbeil, which is a town very close to the border that was almost totally destroyed in the war between Israel and Hezbollah in July 2006. It's possible that he will visit the border. There's a park built by Iran in the town of Marun Aras, right on the border. That seems unlikely right now. That would be seen as a provocation for him to come right to the border. There have been rumors here for days that Ahmadinejad would throw a rock at the Israeli border, but Hezbollah has denied that, and in fact the town where Ahmadinejad will be is several kilometers from the border. The United States has actually already come out and said that it is a provocation for him to be here. And everyone knows that Iran is the main backer and always has been of Hezbollah. So here you have this guy who's, sending a strong message that he is supporting this group and he's coming to the country to do so. He's never done that before. He gets seen as an affront, certainly by the United States and Israel. There's a lot of talk about the United States and Europe and Saudi Arabia wanting to somehow pull Syria away from Iran and to weaken Hezbollah here. And I think Ahmadinejad's visit is an opportunity for both Hezbollah and for Ahmadinejad to publicly say that they have a strong relationship and no one's going to break that. But it really is political theater. It's an opportunity for Ahmadinejad to show his public support. It's an opportunity for Hezbollah to have big rallies and kind of have their voice heard in public. However, there are lots of Lebanese who don't support Hezbollah and who are upset about Ahmadinejad being here as a supporter of Hezbollah.
Frank, 6 months ago, a year ago, who would have thought that the one race we'd all be focused on in this election cycle is the Delaware Senate race?
This is going to cause them to close their doors.
We're going to try and have a conversation here this evening rather than just a diatribe if we possibly could.
The fact that CNN aired that debate live last night for an hour in prime time really says that the attention is on this race.
When's the last time Delaware, with fewer than 1 million people, had a Senate debate aired live?
Never.
But I thought it proved to be really fascinating.
A lot of people remember, because they've learned in the last few weeks, you did once describe yourself when you were in college, a long time ago, as a bearded Marxist.
My opponent and lots of folks in the right-wing media have endlessly spun this. I am not now, nor have I ever been, anything but a clean-shaven capitalist.
Well, I would stand to disagree.
We had talk of Marxism and witchcraft. At times it was like, is this a debate or an avant-garde staging of the Crucible?
Evolution.
But on a substantive level, it was really interesting as well, because you saw her struggling to make the Republican case that we have to get the deficit, the debt under control, and yet not really saying how that would happen. No suggestion of tax hikes and not a lot of suggestions for spending cuts. Right. And you had him, in one sense, running with the Obama agenda and in another sense running against it. So each of them really embodied what campaigning from their party is like this cycle and how difficult it can be.
She really had certain talking points that she was hammering very strongly.
But it was interesting because she had to perform a little jujitsu there, because it was like, ignore half of my past.
But not the other part.
Pay attention to the fact that I paid my way through college, which there's debate about whether I graduated. But all the statements I made on TV after, those are not fair game.
But they were definitely people who offered people a choice. It's clearly a strong choice.
Well, he certainly seemed more fluent in policy. I'm not sure the debate did him a lot of good. He could not hide his irritability with her.
Absolutely, he seemed frustrated with her.
His disdain for her came through loud and clear. And if you are someone who wants to cast a populist against the elite's vote, I don't think he convinced you should vote for him.
And finally, Vittorio Grigolo is making his debut at the Metropolitan Opera Saturday. This weekend's Arts and Leisure section profiles the 33-year-old tenor. And now you'll hear his voice on TimesCast.
Since I'm little children, I create that little spot where I can give and release all my inner passion and release my inner energy. And I do it through my singing, through my voice.
Vittorio Grigolo, prepares for his debut this weekend at the Metropolitan Opera. He plays Rodolfo in La Bohème, the same role Luciano Pavarotti made his Lincoln Center debut in 42 years ago. Many in the opera world are hoping Gregolo can step into another role vacated by Pavarotti, the next great tenor of opera. Yet until recently, he was little known to mainstream opera audiences because he took a detour into what he calls popera. This 2006 album went platinum.
There's a wind of change that's blowing, and
Simon Cowell of American Idol even tried to recruit Gregolo into a boy band. He has since returned to mainstream opera, tackling increasingly challenging roles. Then, at the Royal Opera House in London this summer, he brought down the house. Now, New York audiences will get to decide if Gregolo is indeed the next great tenor.
You know, I try to bring all my experience of life, all my love experience, my bad experience, my crying experience in my character.
Join us again tomorrow for TimesCast.